tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them check out the blog, bro.
All right. Yeah, the MKO pugilism
boxing channel, talking all things boxing, moving and grooving
all day.
All day, exactly. Yeah, so we've got another one for you now. We're talking about Paulie Malignaggi's interview with Sam Jones, and we're particularly going to focus in on what he said about Manny, the Pac-Man, Pacquiao, and he used the term foul play. So, yeah, you want to go ahead, Kev, see what you think of it?
Yeah, man, I was watching on YouTube a couple of days ago, and, I thought, Paulie was going to come out with something about maybe Paulie is just great. Manny is just great, is a GOAT, but then he started to compare himself to Manny about, using a factor of when he was young, how Manny was a champion. When he was an amateur, when he started boxing, Manny was a champion. And when he became a professional boxer, Manny was a champion. When he was a champion, Manny was a champion. When he retired, Manny's still a champion. So and they put a little question mark there, so, trying to make people kind of make their own decision, which means it's on something, So he didn't. I'm not sure. I have to watch that video again. I'm not actually sure if he said he is on PED, but it's just kind of like a massive question mark, So yeah. I'm like, you're not Manny, you're Paulie Malignaggi. That's who you are. Manny is a different breed, it's rare, but it definitely got you thinking. I'm not gonna lie, it got me thinking. When he compared himself, which obviously he shouldn't have compared himself, but what are you just trying to say that Manny is 42 years old and he's still competing with the young bulls, people in their 20s, in their 30s. But then you have to remember the opposition, people that he's competing with, like his last fight. Is that his last fight with Thurman? But he had another fight. That was his last fight, innit? And obviously Keith Thurman came out from 2 years injuries. He had injuries, and he just kind of just go with life. He got married, so he was pretty much laid off for 2 years, and he came back and he fought the GOAT, Manny, and so obviously Manny won. So due to that, a lot of people thinking maybe Manny might be on PED or something like that to be able to compete with someone like Keith Thurman. But you have to remember, Keith Thurman hasn't competed for 2 years, and Manny has been he has kept busy for that 2 years period that when Keith Thurman was on a layoff. So, but I don't believe it. I need a proof of evidence for me to say that Manny is on PED. The guy is just good. He's a very good boxer. He's fast, but also he's boxing. You just never know this thing. So, but I wouldn't jump on it and say that he's on PED. But as Paulie said during that interview, he said boxing is corrupt. There's something goes on in boxing behind the scene that we don't know about. So that's also a question mark. But I'm more likely to kind of take on his word because he's a boxer. He's a professional boxer. He's been in the game, so he's probably know more stuff than I do. He's been in it with the elite. The great. So he's seen stuff. When you're in that kind of world, just like you're an actor, you will see what's going on in the acting world. A musician, you see what's going on behind the scene. So he's obviously seen stuff. He said that in any quote, I can't really mention any names. He doesn't want to give up any names, but he said that he's seen stuff. So yeah, that's what I think. Marv, what do you think?
Well, I think he was erring on the side of Manny being on PEDs and foul play. Overall, I'll just run you through a few things. I believe that in boxing, as we say, styles make fights. I'll just give you a few examples. In my view, Pacquiao looked very good against Keith Thurman, as we've said, and but one thing also is that I think Keith Thurman was also trying to kind of cherry pick Pacquiao in a way, And I think because if you notice, he didn't go after guys like Errol Spence, you know, those guys who are like his sort of age and, you know, that were around and everything. You know, he went for Pacquiao. I think he went for Pacquiao for the money, and also because he saw Pacquiao as a weaker link than a Crawford or a Spence. But yeah, I think it's about styles make fight, and Pacquiao's style against Furman's style works. You know what I mean? It works very well. And I feel like Pacquiao has looks good and bad against different opponents. Like, for example, Jeff Horn. I felt Pacquiao definitely won that fight, but it was a horrible fight. Pacquiao didn't look that good in that fight, although I feel he won. Still didn't look that good. Look at Pacquiao against Mayweather, you know, years back when he was a bit younger. He didn't look good against Mayweather because of the brilliance of Mayweather, and the way Mayweather fights kind of nullifies your skill set. So, you know, different opponents make him look good and bad. And also, you know, I think that as much as what Paulie was saying, what it was, I believe Pacquiao has slowed down over the years, but he's that quick that it's only if you're a keen observer and you've got a keen eye for boxing that you can sort of notice where he slowed down and he moves that touch slower, you know. And the thing about Pacquiao is that he's that good and he's that quick that only the very best can actually exploit how much you slow down. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a matter of the fact that he is great. And, you know, I also believe that he's actually still quicker than most of these fighters, even the young ones. You know, even the young ones, he's quicker than them. And he's also unique in the way that he moves. So the way he moves is very different and very unconventional when you compare it to other fighters. So I think that plays a factor into why he's still able to compete. And I think his greatness means that he can naturally do things that most people can't do. That's just the thing, you know. He because of him being such a great fighter, it means that he naturally can do things, even at an advanced age, that the average fighter can never do, can never dream of doing. I think that's just because he's great. And greatness is a thing that makes a person look strange, and it's a thing that's rare. So that's why Paulie is so...
It's like...
Yeah.
It's like when you talk about great, you can say Ali is great, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing about Ali, his greatness still make him look humans. It still make him look beatable in a way that when he's fighting like George Foreman, the Thriller in the Middle, if I'm correct, is that it? Or is that
no,
Rumble in the Jungle?
Rumble in the Jungle.
Rumble in the Jungle, that's the one. So in that fight, like, he knows he cannot move, or Ali it was known for his amazing footwork. Like, it can dance all around you, sting like a butterfly. Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You do that all. You couldn't do that with Foreman, you know. You have to sometimes do what we call the rope a dope, you know, leaning against the rope, because he can't dance all night long with a guy that just keeps stalking you down. And even though he did what normal people can't do, that's what people probably call him the GO.A.T. He took punches, like, and he absorbed it, and he didn't get knocked out by Foreman, and Foreman was knocking everyone out. And he then make Foreman gas out. You know, it takes guts and glory, like it takes big art to able to do things like he done in that ring on that fight night. But he still looked human, like he was getting beat. And even though he won that fight, he was getting beat. And then Foreman as well, he retired for 10 years, came back, and then he became a world champion again by beating a younger opponent. You know, so he was almost probably in his 40s sometime like that as well.
He was.
Yeah, he beat this guy that's probably 20-something years old. So there's another sign of greatness, you know. But when I'm trying to compare the heavyweight and the welterweight together, in this case, is that, as you can see, Ali with amazing footwork, he has to slow down because he's a big guy that can't move for 15 rounds. It's still back in those days, right? And then someone like Foreman, when he came back, he didn't have no footwork. He just used timing, he just used experience in most of his fight then, you know, because he can't move. So that's the difference between like.
Well, he never was a mover.
Yeah, it wasn't a mover, but what I'm saying is he just literally just stand there and just use this one of the defense mechanism that he was really good at when he parry like that and then he counter, and so that works out well for him. He's just old school boxer. But yeah, with someone like welterweight, you need a amount of energy, and then that's when H comes even more when you're lightweight, coming from a sports scientist background. When you're lightweight, the H comes more. Like it affects you more because you need to be fast, you need to be quick, you know. And the older you get, you will lose the speed and reflexes. But just automatically, it will drop down. There's nothing you can do about it to train it, to make yourself be faster, stronger. Yes, you can train and try to maintain it, but you will drop it, like you will lose it. So I'm thinking that's probably what Paulie Malignaggi is coming from in the case that I have to say that I'm a young guy, I've trained, you know, I see the older, yeah, I'm dropping, losing speed, reflexes, coordination, things like that, agility. And then, but yes, you might see it in Manny Pacquiao, but it's not that much, you know, because if you have dropped a lot, then you won't be competing with this like young fighter that they should just have this speed and agility naturally because they're so young, they're only like 20, and Manny's past them by 20 years or 15 years or whatsoever, and then they still manage to keep up with this young elite, like young good boxer, you know. And I think that's why people have the question marks on. And to have that, it's nothing wrong with that if you're coming from sports scientist background, you know, and as an athlete, knowing what, even like looking at sprinters, for example, like as fast as they could be, like they can't keep that speed for a very long period of time because the older they get, they will lose that speed. That speed will just disappear slowly, gradually, and that's why they can't keep that record for a long time, you know. So that's why I believe that boxing is a sport that requires speed and power and like agility, but it's not so much of like techniques and skills, but that's things that you're born with, you have, you know. If you can be slower and still manage to keep your techniques, but you might be slower to able to catch a punch or slower to slip or to react quicker from a punch because you're older. And I think that's where Paulie might be coming from in my view. I think that's where it's coming from. If I was going to say anything, I'd be coming from that point of view as a sports scientist and athlete as well.
Yeah, I mean, but I would say also that when you look at Manny Pacquiao's career, there have been certain distinctions. There have been less, for example, less knockouts, like less people. He hasn't been knocking people's spark out anymore. As he rises through the weights, you notice it becomes more points win. Look at Margarito. He hit Margarito with a million punches, but he beat him on points. Look at De La Hoya. He did stop De La Hoya, but he stopped De La Hoya on his own.
But then people say to that one, like after he got knocked down by Marquez, knockouts, not knocked down, not called out by Marquez, and people were saying from that fight is when before that fight, people be calling him out that he's to be on PED. People think at one point that he was on it and then he came off, and that's when his knockout ratios kind of dropped down because he came off. I remember that time. Obviously, there's no evidence to this, but that's what people were saying. We're like, oh, Manny Pacquiao that he's knocking everyone else back out. We got to one point, I think when Floyd started calling him out about, you know, he's on PED, and then he maybe came off, and then his knockout power just dropped, and he got dropped by Marquez as well. That he's been beaten how many times? Well, how many times is it for Marquez since the young age to older age? It was like both was kicking it, and then he got to one point, Marquez dropped him cold. Like, I mean, they fought many times. None of these guys knocked at each other out cold, and then all of a sudden, Marquez just timing rightly. It was like one of the most devastating knockout I've seen. Like Manny Pacquiao, I thought Mama was dead for a few seconds. Like it was flat out. And then people since that fight, people have been saying that maybe he came off his PED and that's why his knockout ratio has dropped down, this and that. I don't know. It's all speculation, isn't it? But like when you look at it, he did lose his knockout power very much. Like, you know, and they just win it fight by point most of the time, or knockdown during the fight, etc. But yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying during that time. What do you think about that?
I have to disagree. I don't think he lost power. I think he remember, this guy he came up from flyweight. Yeah. So the people, if you look at the people he stopped, there's certain, for some of them, there's certain asterisks over it. Like, for example, Miguel Cotto. They made Miguel Cotto go to 145 pounds rather than 147 for Miguel Cotto's title. So there's an asterisk there. They made him shed an extra 2 pounds. And you look at guys like, he stopped Oscar De La Hoya, but De La Hoya was weight trained. So I think there's...
So if we make people come to a catchweight to beat them up, even the bigger guy.
Yeah, I think that even Margarito, I think he came to
catchweight. Is it Joshua Clottey, that Ghanaian brother? Like, he fought him as well. And that guy couldn't even put his hands up. And, he was getting hammered and he had so much power against a big guy like that, you know what I mean? And then that guy couldn't even lift his hand up. And he was just, so that's when people were like, wow, this guy's speed, but he's got power as well. And then all of a sudden he dropped it. And that's where a lot of this, like, people were like poking their nose in, like, maybe this guy might be on something, like, you know what I mean? So, but I get where you're coming from. Like, to me, I don't know. I'm just in between, I know that cheating does happen in boxing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't take past anybody, anyone, like, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. That's what I believe. Like, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But as Paulie said, there's definitely cheating goes in boxing. Some people get caught and some people don't get caught. That's how it is, really. So I would like to believe that he doesn't cheat, because obviously I like Manny Pacquiao and I love boxing and I want clean fights. I want to like say that this guy is an amazing boxer, and I don't want to have a connotation of him like, related to him that as a cheater. And I'm saying, so to me, he doesn't cheat in my eyes, but also I'm not going to be naive to say that it doesn't happen in boxing. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it happens in boxing, but I err on the side of Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he did, because I think you can look through his fight. The KOs dry up as he goes up in weight, Even the De La Hoya victory, he did light De La Hoya up, but he couldn't manhandle De La Hoya like he manhandled people at lighter weight. So I think as he goes up in weight, you see the KOs drop. You see him have to adapt and have to change and have to win on points and have to win by TKO instead of KO. So you see, he has to adapt as he comes up in weight. And I also think that it might just be a case of, in this interview, a good fighter being slightly bitter or slightly baffled or jealous of a great fighter. Because he was good, Malignaggi.
Oh yeah,
but he's a great.
He's just never there, is he? He's always losing to the best.
He's not great.
Yeah, he's always losing. When he moves up, he's always losing the match to the best boxer, to the elite boxer.
And you got to factor that into it, the fact that he's looking at a guy who's achieved what he couldn't, and maybe it's a case of a bit of bitterness.
But then why would he be bitter though? That means he should be bitter with every other boxer that has achieved what he couldn't. He should be bitter to Floyd. He should be bitter to, even upcoming boxers like Errol Spence, that people that are doing good, or Terence Crawford. He should be bitter to all of them. What does he have to gain to be bitter to, like, against Manny? Unless if he hate Manny from before or something. I don't know. I don't know their history. I don't know their stories, but
it's not that, bro. What it is that in boxing, boxing is about ego. You have to remember, boxing is an ego thing, All boxers, all fighters have got big egos and big, you know what I mean? So big, like, attitudes and stuff. So sometimes, maybe it's not a direct thing between him and Manny, but he might just be thinking, damn, I never achieved what he achieved. How the hell did this guy do it when I couldn't do it? It's like that in boxing, because even Hagler, he didn't want to talk to Sugar Ray Leonard for years because he felt he won their fight. Trust me.
That's different then. those are rivals.
But I'm just saying that pettiness exists in boxing, trust me.
Yeah, of course, because it's a competitive sport. It's a competitive sport, obviously. People trying to prove that they're the best, they're better than the other. That's what it is. People are punching each other, obviously. So they're going to have that ego, they're going to have the arrogance. It's just part of the sport, isn't it? But like, I just like the way he broke down some of the stuff about, when it comes to science, how people can drop speed and things like that. And which is quite true, because I'm like 10 years ago, things that I could do 10 years ago, I can't do it now. Even though I'm not an elite athlete, but I could go out and run 5 miles in like maybe 27, 30 minutes, but now I'm probably will struggle with it now. You know, my heart rate just go up skyrocket. But obviously these guys are very disciplined guy, man. They eat, sleep, and dream about boxing every single day. So these guys always in shape out of camp. Manny Pacquiao's always in shape out of camp, and Floyd always in shape out of camp. So these guys are different breeds. So that's why I would definitely say that I'm more leaning towards that Manny Pacquiao didn't take any PED, but I'm also not ignorant to say that it's not possible, because it's only humans. Humans can make mistakes and take stuff out. Well, I was hearing one point that maybe one of his trainer, people in his team was putting something in his drink, and Freddie Roche heard about it, went mad. Or maybe, and I also heard that that's not true, that someone, the person, I think it was a nutritionist, was giving Manny advice about the sport, about what he needs to do in the ring, and Freddie got upset. Maybe, okay, I know this is we might have to shut it down now, right? So have you got any more thing to say, Marvin?
Nothing much on that. I believe in Manny Pacquiao's innocence in this one, but yeah, that's about it, really.
That's right. Okay, it's good one, my good one. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. We are the MKO Pugilism, all things boxing out.
Exactly.
Tune in, subscribe, like. Make sure you come back to our channel, all right?
Definitely.
Take care.